Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? As I'm trying to sit down and figure out what to share with you folks, I realized my channel is a lifestyle channel, and I do a little bit of pretty much everything from sewing to gardening to cooking to even cleaning my home, so not so much of that, but primarily really a lot of sewing, cooking, and gardening. So I have a number of different groups of friends out there. So and I am grateful for each and every one of you all. Thank you so much. We're getting so close to the goal I'm trying to reach, so I can do a thank you giveaway. So but this morning I just want to focus on my sewing friends out there, and I just kind of want to talk to you a little bit of the type of sewing machines do we have, and what is their value, what are they worth for you all, and today I wanted to share with you what the value of my sewing machine is for me. So yeah, let's get started and then go from there. Okay, so if you have any question, feel free to put them in the comments below. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I do have a couple of sewing machine. This one is my recent acquire. Almost 2 years ago I got this at an antique store in Oklahoma, and I had brought it here in California. I do have a 9960 Singer, but I have that in Oklahoma right now. So over here we're gonna go, and this one here is an industrial console sewing machine. It only does straight stitch, straight and back stitch. That's it. And this machine I inherited from my mother. She passed away almost 25 years ago. So I've had this for that long. And I do majority of my project on this machine. And then here another one is another machine I got from my mother. This is a Suruba 757, and it's a serger, an overlock machine. Serger, I think it's more of a serger, because it cuts. An overlock is like a finishing hem, although this could be a finishing hem, but not really, so but it just kind of finished the edge. But overlock is primarily used for a t-shirt finish or whatnot. So but anyways, this is a serger, and I love it too. Again, it's industrial, and I inherited it from my mother, and I got them just the way they are. There's no bag to catch the clippings there, or the trims, the edge, it cuts as you sew. So it's got a nice beautiful finished edge. So I created just this bag to kind of catch it, and then I just empty it as it becomes full. So yeah, so those two, they mean so much to me, because it just, whenever I sit down and use this machine, these two machines, I just feel so close to my beloved mother. I'm sorry. So what is their value? It's the value is just, there's no monetary value on this machine for me. A lot of memory of my mother, so they mean a lot to me. So these two, they will always be here with me. Sorry, my mom spent so much time on this machine on her free time. She worked a full-time job, and when she's home, I always just see her sewing. She just loves sewing. If mom had the avenue that we have right now, like Etsy, Shopify, I think my mom would be so rich because she would sew, she would make dresses, anything you can think of. She's just such a good seamstress, and I think that's where I learned my ability to do it too. I never went to school myself, though I have a lot to learn, but I had learned majority of what I know because of my mother. So yeah, these two machines mean so much to me. There's no amount of money that I can put a value on this. It just means a lot in my heart. So and then I have this Brother embroidery machine, PE 800. I used it, but not a whole lot, and I would love to be able to use this more often. There's just so much there's so much I want to do. Sewing is just there's just so much. I can't even begin how much different kind of sewing that we could do. So and I just enjoy doing it. And then this is a cover from another machine. This one, let me remove it. Whoops. This one is my very, very own sewing machine that I had purchased. This one just brings a lot of memory with my children. Me just really trying to expand my knowledge in sewing, particularly in garment making, clothes making. So and I did a lot of that when my children were younger. My two girls were younger. So what else do I have? Yeah, this is my first one. And then so I have a total of 6 sewing machines that belongs to me personally that I still use. All of them are operational. I can still sew on this. It's just like I said, the back stitch, I have to help it a little bit, so I need to take it in to get that fixed. And then the same thing with the button maker, button stitch. So those two are the only issue I have here, but for the most part I could still use this particular machine, the Singer Merit 4538. So, and I do love this machine, and I like it because it's a solid metal. It's heavy, and when I sew on it, you know, you don't have that bouncing, moving around because it's really heavy. So what's it worth? Probably nothing, but a lot of memory for me. So that's why I'm hanging it up. I'm hanging on to it. I don't know if my children will, but until for now, it's staying with me, so that stays there. You know, I asked what's the value of your sewing machines. For me, there is no monetary value. I mean, if we were if my kids were to get rid of this when I'm gone, I don't know, they maybe get a couple of $100. I don't know, you know, same thing with this. So not a lot of great monetary value. This one, I mean, gosh, it's really, the value of it, I think, really is what people are willing to pay for something like this. This machine, I wrote it down, is over 100 years old. 106, I believe. 106, I wrote it down. It was made in let me see. I mean, you can look it up with the little ID code it's got over there. It was made in 1906, so it's 116 years old. Now I got this machine because growing up, my grandmother had a similar sewing machine, and we spent a lot of time, Grandma and I spent some good time during the summer just watching her use this machine, and she taught me how to use it, you know, and it's just amazing for me that there's such a machine that does not use electrical power. So this is how old they were, you know, they don't need electricity. So you just pedal it and you can sew. It's just fascinating. So that's why I love it. And thank God, you know, Grandma had showed me the rope around this sewing machine. So when I saw this, I knew what to look for, whether I can use it. That was the main key of me buying this particular machine. I had to make sure that I'm able to use it. That was the purpose of it. I wasn't buying it just to have in my collection. It had to work. So with her help, because she taught me when I was younger, I was able to look for the things that is important, that has to work in order for me to use it, make it operational. So I have used this many a times making face masks. We were stuck 2 years ago in Oklahoma with that heavy snow. We were stuck. There was no power or anything. But I was still able to fill orders with my mask because of this machine. So I was so grateful for that. Again, no monetary value for me. I mean, I paid $100 for this machine, and if I find it again, you know, with a little bit more, I probably would have paid. I wasn't going after what the money. It's really depends on the individual how much they want to have this particular machine. It's not about their value, you know. So there's no monetary value for me on this, except a lot of memory spent with my mother during the summer when I was younger. I mean, my grandmother in the summer when I was young. And I love using it. So right now I'm doing patchwork coasters. So I have a lot here, and I'm just in the process of putting some decorative stitches. Right now this particular one has feather stitches, so that's what I'm working on here. So excuse the mess and all my you know, embroidery floss there. So I obviously, you can tell I have a ton of options. So but anyways, that's that. I'm not talking much about my serger because I don't use the serger as much, except when I make my breastfeeding pad and makeup remover pads, because they give a very nice finished edge, you know. So that's mainly how I use that. And sometimes with edging, or when I get my new fabric, I run them through there so it seals the edges, so when I wash them I don't get a lot of strings, you know, they don't get tangled. So that's majority of my sewing machine, with the exception of my 9960, which is a sewing machine / pre-motion sewing machine. I love that because I love doing pre-motion as well. So how do I put a value? I can't put value on my sewing machine. It's just it's just a whole lot of memories and time I treasured particularly with my mother and my grandmother with this one. So am I gonna get any more sewing machine? I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a total of 6 sewing machine I personally own now. That's quite a bit of sewing machine. Do I need some more? Probably not, but there is one more machine that I want to get a hold of, because once we retire in about 2 years, 2-3 years, my husband and I would love to travel across the country in our RV. So we would be on the road quite a bit, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to survive if I don't do any sewing while I'm on the road. So I want to get something that's really compact, small, and I think the featherweight will be really, really good machine to have. It is electric, so but I think it'll be good. It's small enough and would not take a whole lot of power from the RV. So I would love to get my hands in a featherweight, a nice decent condition featherweight, and hopefully I'll find it soon. We'll see. But once I get that, I think I have to just stop bringing in machine. I think I'm done. I mean, the machine that I own are not, are not the Rolls Royce of machine. They're just, I bring them in because they have a lot of value memories to me, and that the use of it. So, and then of course my hands is always going to be with me. It is a sewing machine in itself, I have to say, because I do a lot of hand stitching. If we all wanted to, I do believe in my heart that we can construct a garment with our hands. It may not be heavy weighted garments, and it's going to take some time, but our hands is a very, very valuable sewing tools as well. Sewing machine, rather, should I call. So I would consider it as my other sewing machine as well, because I do a lot of sewing with my hand. And just an example of items that I've sewn by hand is this particular wallet. It is constructed by hand stitching on these edges. All this is hand stitching, and all that you can hand stitch it. You can the pocket I attach with hand stitching. So you can create, put together something really nice and special with your hands alone, providing you have all the patience and time that you would need. You can't rush it. It'll just take a little bit of time, but absolutely, I truly believe in my heart that I can create a garment. I can create a blouse, a pair of shorts, with just simply using my hands and needles and thread. I mean, I made face masks with my hands alone without sewing machines. So I think if you just enable yourself, you certainly will be able to create anything you want with just thread, needle, and your hands, and a pair of scissors, and obviously, the fabric. So yeah, there is no dollar value on all my sewing machine. I would not put a dollar value on it. And like I said, if I was, it is what I said. I mean, I don't think they're worth a lot of money, in my opinion. So, but they do mean a lot to me. There's many, many memories of my grandmother and my mother, particularly my mother. Every time I look at her sewing machine, it just reminds me of how hard my mother worked to support us, for us to survive. There is 6 of us in the family, and unfortunately we lost my father at a very young age, and mother had to just do everything she could to survive. So when she's not working her full-time job, she's always sewing, doing alteration for people, doing project for other people. She did how do you say it, or she would, a company would contact her and they would give her all pre-cut fabric, and she would just sew it. So assembly line kind of work for someone, whether there were garments or there were at some point I even helped her make some bow ties. She would make bow ties, and I would help her attach the the tie-in itself, you know, so she would teach me how to do that. So she was always working so hard, and whenever I sit and create on this machine, particularly this, I just feel so much closer to my mom. I'm just so grateful for her, and I so appreciate her hard work, her dedication to support us, to provide for us. So anyways, oh, sorry, I'm getting emotional. I miss her so much. So probably by now you can tell what are the values of my sewing machine in my heart. Not in my pocket, but so much more in my heart. They are truly a treasure for me. So anyways, I love to know what your machine means to you. What are their value? I mean, are they the same as mine? More of a memories, treasured values rather than monetary. So yeah, I love to hear. Share on the comment below, and until then, I will chat with you again really soon. Take care, my friends. Bye bye.